In this podcast episode, Mel Robbins interviews Clea Shearer and Joanna Teplin, co-founders of The Home Edit, to explore how organization can transform not just your home, but your mental clarity and overall well-being. The discussion offers practical, manageable ways to create simple systems, embrace the concept of editing your belongings, and remove the shame and overwhelm often tied to clutter. The conversation demystifies the process of organizing by breaking it into achievable steps and shifting mindset perspectives around time, effort, and self-worth. Clea and Joanna emphasize that organizing is fundamentally an act of self-care and contributes significantly to mental wellness. They explain how physical clutter creates a mental burden and drains energy, making day-to-day life more stressful. Removing clutter and implementing systems bring freedom, calm, and confidence. Importantly, they dismantle the misconception that organizing is a massive one-time project. Instead, small, consistent edits over time provide enormous payoff. The duo stresses that organization isn't about perfection or meeting Instagram standards. It's about creating a life that feels good and manageable for you. The Home Edit's Instagram feed showcases beautifully styled spaces, but Clea and Joanna clarify that it is a portfolio meant for inspiration rather than a blueprint for how everyone should live. Comparing this to a wedding album versus the marriage itself, they remind listeners that real life has nuance, messiness, and complexity. The ideal is not perfection, but functionality and peace. They urge people to lower the bar of expectation and embrace their unique rhythms and living situations. The common excuse, "I don't have time to organize," is reframed by the guests. You actually don't have time to remain disorganized. Searching for lost items wastes far more time daily than the minutes it takes to establish a simple system. Clea and Joanna advocate starting in small increments, working on a drawer or a single space for just 15 minutes, rather than attacking large spaces all at once, which can quickly overwhelm and paralyze. This manageable approach makes the process sustainable and stress-reducing. One of the golden rules they share is the 80-20 principle. Keep your spaces only 80% full, leaving 20% breathing room. This allows for physical ease and mental clarity. They reveal that editing is the cornerstone of organizing, the edit being a proactive choice of what to keep based on whether you need it, use it, or love it. Editing only costs time and intention, not money, and is what truly transforms cluttered chaos into calm. Organizing alone, simply moving things around without editing, can feel pointless and exhausting. A simple but powerful system they recommend is creating a daily drawer, a dedicated spot for the essentials you use every morning, like dental care items or glasses. This drawer system exemplifies not fighting the natural tide of how belongings flow through your home. By acknowledging these natural tendencies and setting accessible homes for items, you reduce frustration and create habits that stick. Simple, sustainable, and visible homes for things make everyday routines smoother. Entryways, mudrooms, or kitchen islands often become dumping grounds where clutter piles up. The authors suggest first assessing what actually belongs in these spaces and why items are scattered on floors or counters. Vertical storage like hooks, shelves, and bins helps contain the inevitable influx of shoes, backpacks, and mail. They encourage embracing these grand central spots realistically instead of resisting the natural use patterns of household members, removing barriers that make tidying difficult. Clea and Joanna introduce the idea of me and them problems. A me problem is when you struggle with your own standards or lack of systems, like not having a home for keys or glasses, whereas a them problem is when others don't follow the systems you've set up. Organizing requires clear, simple systems that everyone in the household can understand and follow. The key is creating homes that are intuitive for all users to minimize frustration and maintain order. When deciding what to keep, every item should fit into one of three categories. You need it, you use it, or you love it. Sentimental items exist as a fourth category but come with two rules. Either actively use them or honor them with proper storage or display. Unused sentimental clutter hidden away doesn't serve you or honor the item's value. Clea and Joanna warn against shoulds, emphasizing that items you feel you must keep out of obligation don't count as truly valuable belongs. This mindset helps break down emotional attachments that hinder editing. Organizing is also about seeing the totality of your belongings to better rationalize what you keep. When you categorize similar items together, whether it's pens, clothes, or pans, you gain clarity over what you own and how much of it you truly need. Containment, whether with drawer inserts, bins, or even repurposed boxes, helps corral items within designated limits tied to the 80-20 rule, preventing overaccumulation and chaos. This step also aids in budgeting physical space for belongings. The episode features a hands-on demonstration decluttering a junk drawer, showcasing the process of pulling everything out, categorizing, and deciding what belongs, what can be donated, and what should be trashed. This drawer illustrates the common household tendency to shove and hide without evaluating usefulness or placement. By editing out items that don't belong or aren't used and creating a home for the essentials, even a notoriously messy spot can become manageable quickly. The process is freeing and motivates tackling other spaces. Starting big, like clearing an entire room or the whole kitchen, is a common mistake that leads to burnout. The guests recommend setting achievable goals like editing one drawer or one category at a time, progressively building confidence and momentum. This piecemeal approach respects busy schedules and erratic motivation, framing organization as a series of small wins rather than an insurmountable chore. The best organizational systems are simple, easy to maintain, and realistic. Complex or overly detailed plans often fail because they are hard to sustain long-term. Labels serve as instructions for household members, helping to preserve systems despite turnover and distraction. Whether in pantries, closets, or kids' rooms, straightforward categories and clear cues make maintaining order easier. Clothing is frequently the hardest category to edit because of emotional attachments and associated stories. Approaching clothes by category, like pajamas, workwear, or seasonal items, and focusing on tangible categories helps break it down. The binary question, do I want the item or do I want the space, serves as a helpful mantra to overcome indecision. Accepting that editing clothes involves confronting emotions with patience can lessen guilt. The conversation addresses the weight of guilt around keeping things, especially inherited or gifted items. They encourage honoring genuinely meaningful possessions through proper display or designated keepsake storage, while feeling empowered to let go of broken, unused, or unloved items without judgment. Donating items can further ease guilt by placing them into new purposeful hands. For those in small spaces, external storage solutions like rolling 3-tier carts, over-the-door organizers, hooks, and shelves optimize vertical space and provide mobile accessible homes for everyday items. These adaptations expand storage possibilities and reduce clutter without needing structural changes or expensive products. Organization is ongoing, like exercise or relationship care. Systems require routine upkeep and flexibility. Occasional setbacks don't mean failure. If maintaining order feels overwhelming, reassessing and simplifying your strategies helps preserve your progress. A sustainable system accommodates life's unpredictability without collapsing under everyday use. Clea and Joanna describe a low-bar approach, encouraging people to set achievable goals and celebrate small wins rather than perfection. By lowering expectations to manageable steps, anyone can sustain organizing habits and build confidence over time. This philosophy reduces pressure and shame while reinforcing progress. The guests conclude by assuring listeners that anyone can organize their space regardless of how chaotic it feels now. Starting small, embracing imperfections, and focusing on personal systems tailored to individual lifestyles creates lasting change. Organization is a gift you give yourself, a way to reclaim time, energy, and peace without cost or complexity.